Hello, we are
Orly and Yoel.
from Ulpan-Or. We are the founders of Ulpan-Or, a unique Hebrew institution for providing Hebrew programs to people from all over the world.
And we are delighted to be with you this evening.
Well, most of you know that Ben Yehuda revived Hebrew as our national language, the language of Jewish people. But there's a little problem. Hebrew is a living language only in Israel.
Mhm.
Outside of Israel, it is still a second, if not foreign language for most of the Jews.
At Ulpan-Or, we believe that we can help everybody and anybody anywhere in the world to easily make Hebrew a living, practical language for the Jewish people, and we will provide some tips how to do it in this Facebook Live.
Okay, so Orly, maybe you can tell our viewers what is actually different between Ulpan-Or, our institution, and other Hebrew schools.
Okay, let's see. I believe that we actually kind of cracked the DNA of studying a language. What do you say about that?
Well, I do think so because we did it together and we have a unique way of teaching Hebrew. So, Orly, how do we teach Hebrew at Ulpan-Or?
Okay, so first of all, we try to do it the natural way, like the way children study their own language. And what do I mean by a natural way? I'll give you an example. When a child listens or hears his mother saying something for 1,000 times, eventually he says it. We're not going to say something for 1,000 times, but usually, if you can recall, we are exposed to the language through pictures, through kind of videos. We see people doing things and we try to understand what they are doing, what they are saying.
Yes, I don't recall going to a school to study my own mother tongue. I didn't
Exactly.
have to conjugate verbs. I didn't have to study the roots, right?
Right.
Shorashim. I just sort of absorbed it. And
Right.
so did, I guess, almost anyone in the world.
Exactly. So, if you try viewing something, watching a video, for instance, as a starter, and then trying to understand the video using your ability to read and to write. But the video could lead you because it's interesting. So, interest, curiosity, watching things, and vocabulary. In most places, when you try and study a language, you give them a list of vocabulary, or even worse, you teach them a story, and people start asking, "What is this? And what is this? What does this mean?" Meaning, things are not organized usually when you study a language. In our institution, everything is organized. We decide what will be the words that you will need, and they are already translated for you in your mother tongue. And that's the third thing. Everything is explained in our ebooks in your own mother tongue.
Meaning English.
Mostly English, but we do have now ebooks in Spanish,
In Russian,
in
and in French.
right.
Yes. But the main point here is you don't have to struggle to understand your instructions in Hebrew like is done in many other places.
Mhm.
The instructions are given in your mother tongue. Of course, the teacher speaks Hebrew to you, or the books present Hebrew texts and audio and video. It's all in Hebrew, but the instructions to make your life easier and not let you sweat a lot, they're all done in your mother tongue.
And sometimes they're even recorded, so it will be even easier to understand. All the vocabulary is recorded in your mother tongue and in Hebrew. And the last thing that I want to speak about is our method. We have 7 steps of studying a language that are totally clear, very, very clear to all our students. And whoever follows them, the books, of course, follow them, get to a huge success. And what is success in studying language? For
Writing,
us.
yes, Orly? To be able to write. No?
No, of course not. The success is speaking and understanding. Without speaking and understanding, you don't really acquire language.
Because the essence of any language is verbal communication. Some people don't realize it. They think that if they're able to read and write, it's okay. Of course, it's okay, but they miss the main point, right, Orly, which is?
Speaking.
Yes. And speaking of speaking, I would like to stress something. The world was created by God by his speech, right? God spoke, and then the entire universe was created. So let's talk about the word to speak. Many of you may be familiar with this word. To speak in Hebrew is ledaber. Ledaber is to speak. And if you want to ask someone if he speaks Hebrew, how would you say that, Orly?
אתה מדבר עברית?
כן, אני מדבר עברית. את מדברת עברית?
כן, אני מדברת עברית.
So לדבר is to speak. But let's take the root of it, the kernel of this word, which is davar. Davar in Hebrew is a thing, okay? It has the same root as to speak, which actually alludes that something which exists here, a thing, has been created by speech, okay? Ledaber, davar, okay? So creation of a thing comes from speech. Isn't it interesting? It only happens in Hebrew. And many magicians use this expression, abracadabra, like some magic phrase, abracadabra. But if you analyze it, it insinuates that abra means in Hebrew, I will create. Kadabra means as I speak. So magicians, what they do, they create something as they speak. And they don't realize that it all comes from the ancient Hebrew. Abracadabra, this magic expression. Yes.
So interesting.
So Orly, can you tell our viewers at which levels and ages people come and study with us?
Of course, we start at a very early age. We have programs for kindergartens as well. And people who come to us are usually people between the ages of 15 to study in our institutions, 15 till the age of 90.
Yes, our current oldest student is turning right now, this summer, 90. Mazel tov.
Yoel, you are known as the inventor of all the
Acronyms?
acronyms
Yeah, I love those.
of Ulpan-Or. GDL, PPT, RLA. Can you elaborate on them?
Okay, I will start with RLA. RLA stands for Rapid Language Acquisition. What we wanted to actually tell by RLA is that language is not learned, it's perceived, it's acquired, it's naturally absorbed. That's why we call it rapid language acquisition. So in our institution, Ulpan-Or, our students acquire language rapidly. And GDL stands for Guided Distance Learning. We have many, many students from all over the world. Right now, it's about 500 students studying every month with us from Australia to Hawaii, from the almost northern pole, from Alaska to somewhere down in Mexico or Argentina.
Who teaches them?
We have excellent teachers. Most of them are located in Israel, anywhere in Israel, from Metula to, could be somewhere Eilat, okay? And we have some teachers outside of Israel, and we call them mentors, guides. They're not really teaching. As we said, students have to acquire the language. And the role of our teachers is to accelerate and to facilitate the process. So they're not teacher per se, they're mentors or guides. That's why we call it guided distance learning.
That's of course, something that happens because the materials are actually enables them to do that. You can study without a teacher, but the teacher helps you to progress. And what is the PPT?
Okay, PPT. Our methodology leans on three main pillars. The first P stands for psychology. The second P stands for, what do you think, Orly?
Let me think.
Maybe pedagogy?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay. And the T stands for technology.
And teachers as well?
Of course. So what we mean by that, that without applying some psychological positive approaches to our study process, students study much slower and they are not as confident as they could be. So applying positive psychology, and that's how we train our teachers, helps our students. The second P, pedagogy, is of course applying all the elements of RLA, rapid language acquisition, which actually include a very, very experiential teaching. And technology, it helps our students to access all our materials on any existing device, starting with smartphones, PCs, Macs, laptops, iPads, any type of tablets, etc., which of course makes everything very, very accessible anywhere in the world.
And if I'll go along with what I said, teachers, the teachers are not just teachers. They are teaching, but there is a whole system that actually helps them to teach better. They have a mentor. All the teachers have a mentor, and they have to devote time to tell the mentor about the progress. So all that together really, really helps our students to progress fast. And now I would like to ask you, Yoel, we bridge between ancient Hebrew and modern Hebrew. Tell us about your baby, the Torah Insights.
Okay, I will do that in a moment, but beforehand, I wanted to share with you one of the methods that we use to learn Hebrew verbs. Many institutions teach Hebrew verbs, mentioning the roots and conjugation of those, but they miss the point that any child actually perceives, and this is the patterns, because Hebrew verbs are very logical and they have a pattern. And let me demonstrate something very easy. When we spoke about verb ledaber, which means to speak, so many people learn to conjugate it. They know medaber is the present tense, dibarti is in the past tense, adaber is in the future. But let's say we take a new verb which you are not familiar with, like lekapel, and I even will not tell you what it is, okay? Let me just demonstrate how easy it could be to conjugate this verb, knowing how the conjugation of ledaber goes. So we said ledaber, so pay attention to the syllables of it, to the musical patterns. Ledaber is le-a-e, right? Le-a-e. These are the sounds of the verb ledaber. So lekapel has the same sounds, le-a-e. So what did we do with the past tense of ledaber? It became diber in the third person. So lekapel will become, even if you don't know, just pay attention to the music of it. Diber is ie, so lekapel will become kipel. Okay, and any other verb. So once you remember, and it's easy, very easy to remember the musical patterns, you will know any verb of that group, how to conjugate it. Okay, and now I'll speak about this baby. A few years ago, when I wrote, and I still do with Orly, every week, something, we post something that is connected to the Torah portion of that week. And what we do, we extract some Hebrew expressions which appear in the Torah, and we see how we can bridge those to the modern Hebrew and the expressions that we use nowadays. And we called it the Torah from inside out. You can see it. So many people are using it, and they love to use this book, studying the Torah portions, because these are actually accompanied with many parables, many different stories using the vocabulary that appears in that Torah portion, or it is related to that. But those are in modern Hebrew. So people can bridge between what is in the Torah to the modern way of saying things in Hebrew.
So these books are regular books?
This is a hard copy book.
Yeah.
But what we did, we produced an ebook, which includes recordings. It includes various the vocabulary of the Torah portions or the stories, and it also includes something that is connected in modern Hebrew and bridges the understanding of the ancient text with the modern text. And many people love it. So people get it individually or in an isolated way in our weekly posts. But when we were asked, can we get, the whole package? We said, well, let's think about it. And now is the time, because just before the holiday of Shavuot, we are having a very, very special offer to you.
Why? Why is Shavuot so important, and what's the connection between Shavuot and those Torah insights?
Okay, as you may know, Shavuot is the holiday that commemorates the day on which the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, were given to the people of Israel. So we wanted to give you this opportunity to access the texts and the vocabulary and the recordings and full translations to English of those texts, so you can enjoy both worlds, the ancient world of the Torah and the new world of the modern Hebrew. So what we also did, we are right now allowing you to get it at huge discount of 75%. Wow. If you access our homepage, ulpanor.com, ulpanor.com, you will see an indication of 75% discount. And it is for a limited time, since you are here with us in this live Facebook stream. Please use this opportunity. We encourage you, and the final price for you is not $999. It's only $249 for a lifetime subscription.
For all 5 books.
It's a lifetime subscription with all that we mentioned, the recordings, the translations, the vocabulary, and we hope that you can enjoy it, because many readers and many students of ours, they tell us that when they have access to this package of 5 books of Moses that we produced, they always can say something around the Shabbat table. Some rabbis even, turn to us and ask our permission to have this word for their communities. And we love it. Why not? We want to share as much as we can with anybody around the world. And many non-Jews, of course, enjoy it, because it also gives them the opportunity to understand better the Torah words written in the original language, which is, of course, Hebrew.
So what can we say? We would love you to come into our website and check it and be in touch and enjoy your studies.
Okay, as I mentioned, I'll just mention it again, www.ulpan-Or.com. And we would love to continue talking to you, giving some more tips in Hebrew, and become a part of Hebrew-speaking community. And that's what we are now building, both online and face-to-face. And we do hope that Corona is over soon, because many students are turning to us with questions. Can they come to Israel and study with us? And of course they can. And we already have registrations for groups for starting with June and onward. And we'll be happy to have you with us in Israel, or beforehand, studying by virtual courses or even self-study courses. So check us out at ulpanor.com, and we're so happy to have been with you, and we hope that you enjoyed the session, And we will plan some more of those sessions.
So be well. Shalom and lehitraot.
Shalom, litraot, and stay well and enjoy your Hebrew journey.